A warm welcome to the week's last edition of Primetime News with me, Joy Kosas. Another reminder that if it's your first time, kindly subscribe, click the bell icon to receive notifications. Give us a like as it will help recommend our channel to your friends and family. Headlining the bulletin this evening, a senior biologist in the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, Dr. Francois Jacobs, says they have identified crocodile excluding enclosure as one of the mitigating measures against the continuous crocodile attacks in the two Kavango regions. Let us get the details from our first report compiled by Sawe Hausiku.
Jacobs informed this news agency on Thursday that the two regional offices of the ministry and that of the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism are collaborating on a study into the behavior of people, fish and crocodiles. The study is being conducted on the area around Popa Falls up to the Mahango Game Park, but will be extended to other areas of the Kavango River after August. He noted they have not started with the actual construction or building of these crocodile excluding enclosures, as they are in the process of obtaining funding to implement the management recommendations of the study. Jacob said the two ministries are first looking into a feasibility study of erecting these enclosures and want to make sure the enclosure will be maintenance free and something that can move with the level of the water. The two ministries also want to make sure that the enclosures are comprehensive to ensure that people can utilize them during the high flow and low flow seasons.
On to neighboring South Africa, Police Minister Bheki Cele, while briefing the media about the floods on Thursday, revealed that KwaZulu-Natal's death toll has been revised down from 448 to 435. Shinwa brings us more.
Cele noted there was a figure of 448 fatalities, which have now been revised down to 435. This, he added, is as a result of autopsies performed on 4 bodies, as it was determined that the deaths were murder-related as they were found with bullet wounds. 9 more people were determined to have died from natural causes which were not related to the disaster. He stressed the final fatality figure stands at 435 as of this morning. Cele said they have deployed over 3,000 police officers and 900 KwaZulu-Natal Province Metro Police to help with emergency relief, maintain law and order, and prevent opportunistic crimes, while the army is deploying 10,000 that include doctors, nurses, psychologists, social workers, and pharmacists.
5 African countries on Thursday resolved to deploy a regional force to the Democratic Republic of the Congo to fight a rebel insurgency in the country. Shinwa once more brings us the details.
The presidents from Kenya, Burundi, Uganda, the DRC, and Rwanda who met in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, for the second regional heads of state conclave, directed that planning for such a force commence with immediate effect with the full consultation of relevant authorities in the region. The presidents Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya, Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi, Felix Tshisekedi of the DRC, and Paul Kagame of Rwanda, represented by foreign ministers, directed all armed groups in the DRC participate unconditionally in the political process in order to resolve their grievances. The leaders warned in a communique released at the end of the day-long meeting that failure to do so, all Congolese armed groups would be considered as negative forces and handled militarily by the region. The Allied Democratic Forces ADF, an armed group linked to ISIS, is considered the deadliest of dozens of armed militias that roam the mineral-rich eastern DRC.
Staying on the African continent, UN Peacekeeping Chief Jean-Pierre Lacroix told the Security Council on Thursday that the overall security situation in the disputed Abyei region between Sudan and South Sudan remains calm, but there is a trust deficit between the two main communities. Another insert from Shinwa.
Lacroix spoke about the work of UNISFA, the UN interim security force in the oil-rich border region, urging the Council to extend its mandate for another 6 months through October 15. In recent months, the force has supported dialogue between nomadic Masiria and pastoral Ngok Dinka communities, including addressing recent instances of violence. LaCroix noted the intercommunal clashes claimed the lives of 29 people last week and injured 30 more. These deaths and injuries could have been avoided had there been more trust between the two communities at all levels. He added, while UNISFA has continued its community engagement, stepped up patrols, and encouraged use of conflict resolution mechanisms, it is first and foremost for the governments of South Sudan and Sudan to renew their engagement on the final status of Abyei. LaCroix urged the Council to continue to support the Abyei Joint Program to promote areas of shared interest for the two communities, such as Trans-Chaume, border management and protection mechanisms for women, children and vulnerable groups.
Kindly stand by for your top roundup. In the Prime Time Buzz segment tonight, we begin with the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, which will direct 163.5 million Namibian dollars of its allocated 175.5 million Namibian dollars budget towards personal expenditure under the operational budget. Isabel Bendo, our coastal-based reporter, filed this report.
All right, let me continue, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The majority of this allocation of 163,547,000 will be directed towards personal expenditure under the operational budget, and the remainder of 12 million will be allocated to the developmental budget. The Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources is mandated with the responsible utilization, conservation, protection and promotion of marine resources in a sustainable manner for the benefits of the current and future generations, as embedded in Article 95(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, our ocean is faced with many challenges. Among others, illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing. We call it IUU. Activities, negative impact of climate change, where increasing sea surface temperatures is resulting in decreasing dissolved oxygen levels and the frequent occurrence of harmful algal blooms that threatens the marine life. Now, for people at the coast, they usually call this the red tide. So when the red tide is there, people are happy, but it's not a good sign. Why are people happy? Because that's the time the crayfish is walking out of the sea and the fish is coming to shore. I am glad to report to this August House that despite the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, the fishing industry remains strong and vibrant and will continue to flourish and adjust to the new normal. The resilience of the fishing sector was confirmed during my consultations with the fishing industry during October 2021, where stakeholders discussed and shared pertinent issues affecting the sector.
The pound slumped more than 1% against the dollar earlier today after official data showed tumbling retail sales as Britons grapple with cost of living crisis. AFP shared some context for us.
In London morning deals, sterling sank to 1.2887, its lowest level since October 2020, also as Prime Minister Boris Johnson comes under renewed political pressure. London's benchmark FTSE 100 index was down 0.5% as shares in retailers fell sharply on the data. News that UK retail sales had plunged by 1.4% in March could put the brakes on the Bank of England's policy of hiking interest rates to curb soaring inflation. Britain's currency has strengthened recently after the Bank of England hiked interest rates 3 times in a row. CMC markets analyst Michael Hewson noted that until they get some further clarity on what the Bank of England might do next month, the pound could well remain under pressure. On the political front, British MPs on Thursday backed an investigation into whether Johnson lied to Parliament over lockdown break-in parties at his Downing Street office.
And with that insert, we have come to the end of the top news for this evening. Kindly stay tuned for the economic roundup, followed by the weather forecast.
Good evening and welcome to the world of sport on Sport Planet. I'm Michael Madimba. We commence with football news. The Titanic, that is the NFA, has seemingly struck another iceberg as the Namibia Football Association Normalization Committee on Thursday, with immediate effect, fired the Secretary General of the football body, Franco Cosmos, after he was found guilty on 5 counts of the 9 brought against him. The association, in a media statement on Thursday, said the Normalization Committee has seriously considered the disciplinary hearing in a matter between the association and Cosmos held before the chairperson, Advocate Thabang Patela, who handed the judgment on the 21st of December 2021. After a thorough review of the disciplinary record and the recommendations of the chairperson, the Normalization Committee has determined its full agreement to immediately implement the recommendation of the chairperson to dismiss the Secretary General, found guilty on 5 counts of the 9 brought against him, read the statement. The committee added that to enable the Secretariat to continue with its administrative functions without disruption, the Normalization Committee appointed Jacqueline Herzer in an acting capacity until further notice. On to boxing. An epic heavyweight matchup is on the cards as Tyson Fury will defend his WBC heavyweight title in front of a British record boxing crowd of 94,000 at Wembley on Saturday as Dillian Whyte finally gets his shot at becoming a world champion. Fury claims his first fight on home soil since 2018 will be his last before retirement. There have been suggestions Fury would attempt to unify the heavyweight division against the winner of a rematch between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua. But the 33-year-old wants to bow out in style with a successful title defense against Whyte. Kindly stand by for your sports roundup. With the Sport Planet segment, we've come to the end of the weekly installment of Primetime News. Many thanks for joining us. Once more, another reminder that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share and hit the notifications bell to stay posted on the latest happenings locally and globally. Feel free to interact with us in the comment section. Catch us on Monday next week as we bring you the latest happenings within and beyond Namibia. From myself, Michael Madimba, and the entire production crew, have a blessed weekend. Good night.